Dun 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 dun. Good evening, this is 2020 and I'm Ron Burgundy. In recent news today, the Prime Minister of the Canary Islands was brutally murdered by a group of native locals who apparently immigrated last week from the Pitcairn Islands. Jen Chemistry is live at the scene reporting. Jen?
Back to you, Ron.
Thanks, Jen. In other news, historians have discovered a mysterious film reel depicting a major case in the Marshall Court cases. The reel bears a major resemblance to the Dartmouth versus Woodward case. The reel seems to be quite sophisticated for a moving picture of the 1800s. An excerpt shown here reveals invaluable insight into the British accented U.S. Americans, and such as, and there are.
Mr. Webster, what do you hope to accomplish from this case? Surely you don't expect to win. After all, when this is finished, your school's reputation will be shot.
That is, of course, if you're the last man standing. After all, I'm one of the most distinguished alumni of the school, with great influence in the government, and I just happen to be one of the leaders of the Federalist Party.
Surely you know I'm well protected under the Constitution.
Or so you believe. Besides, why are you so adamant about this? Surely you have nothing to gain.
Do I detect a hint of fear from a mere farmer's son?
High and mighty now, aren't we? All this confidence spewing from a man who's no greater than a debtor.
The Constitution will be upheld. You will see how possible it is to refute my evidence.
The decision, my friend, is ultimately left to Marshall. Your Honor?
Yes?
We're ready.
Thank you.
The court is now in session.
I will prove to you that the actions of the state of New Hampshire are unconstitutional.
The defense, your opening statement, please.
I will show you that the state has the power to do whatever it wishes with its own contracts.
Bailiff, the Constitution, please. Our own Constitution clearly states, no state shall pass any law impairing the obligations of contracts. If the Constitution be not altogether waste paper, it is restrained the power of the legislature in these particulars. The overseers had no right to take over the school.
The defense, your argument.
The purpose of the college is to educate the youth of New Hampshire. Therefore, the institution was intended to be public. The state can grant charters and other contracts, so it should be able to invalidate.
Sirs, you may destroy this little institution. It is weak. It is in your hands. It is, sirs, as I have said, a small college. And yet, there are those who love it.
In the court, I say we move for a short recess. All in favor? Very well.
I would like to make a statement, Your Honor.
Go ahead, but make it brief.
Forgive me, I'm just so passionate about this case. I believe in the power of the Constitution, and I hope that the evidence presented will convince you to make the right decision, to keep Dartmouth a private institution.
Objection! That's rubbish. Mr. Webster is too emotionally invested in this case. The defense believes it is in the best interest of the state's youth for the outcome of this trial to be fair and objective. Thus, we do not believe Webster's statements to be in the best interest of the community.
Objection!
Overruled. This trial is not a personal feud, but rather let it be noted that the true purpose is to determine what rights these United States actually have. Let's now move to the closing statements. Prosecution.
In conclusion, the error of the state of New Hampshire was that it invalidated a charter, a contract in fact, when it had no authority to do so.
And the defense?
The defense, in conclusion, believes that the state has every right to revoke the contract established for one of its own colleges for its own students. The legislature has done nothing illegal or unconstitutional.
I have made my fair and objective decision. Dartmouth College is to retain its original charter, granting it a private institution. The actions of New Hampshire were unconstitutional. No state under the system of government holds the power to interfere with any contracts made by the people. The court is adjourned. Scotch. Scotch. Scotchy, scotchy, scotch.
Ron, we're on.
Fascinating. I have here with me a historian, yes I know, who will shed some light on the matter. Professor Novak, welcome to the show. What do you think?
Well, Ron, this case is quite significant to American history. Marshall put the states in their place when he made his decision that the charter must be kept. If you'll read this paragraph.
Sure.
It defined more clearly the powers granted to each part of government. The superior power of the federal government was bolstered when the Supreme Court corrected an unconstitutional act of the state. And if we'll read right here.
Oh, sure.
The states realized that they have limits to their power. This is a perfect example of the checks and balances system working well. It's all right here.
Well, I must say, by the skates of Michelle Kwan, that was absolutely riveting. Thank you so much for being on the show, Professor Novak. Next on 2020, sex scandal in the mayor's office. I know. Yes, I know. And allegedly, a crazy, demented bastard slave driver teacher is apparently overtaxing local children's workloads. Are your children really safe? The full story after the break. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, wait.
Ron, we're still on.
Dun, dun.